With Monara, you can make quality an integral part of your data development process. With rich data validation options and dedicated quality workflows, we've got you covered. Let's take a look. So I'm going to create a new model in Monara. Let's give it a name. And let's paste in some code. Cool. So I'm running a preview to make sure that my logic is working properly. So data validation is mostly a separate process from your development. But with Monara, you get a unified workflow and make validation as part of your development process. Moving on to the data validation tab, and our AI companion is analyzing my code to enable data validation. So there are three main types of validation. First, automatically generated for you is the schema validation. We automatically infer the names and the types of the columns, and each time this model is running as part of a pipeline, we make sure there are no schema changes that break the contract. Another type of validations is our predefined validations. Luckily, our AI companion is automatically suggesting ways to document them. So you can see that it's marking all fields as required, the ID as unique, which makes sense, and superhost could be yes or no. The cool part is when you add validations to one model, the AI companion gets smarter and suggests validations for the rest of the models based on that. So we're gonna cancel that and accept. Cool. So we've added a unique validation on the ID column, meaning this model is going to fail if we get duplicate rows with the same ID. But what if I have millions of records and I don't want my pipeline to fail in case of a few faulty records? For that, we've added tolerance. So you can set a percentage of faulty records that the pipeline is going to tolerate. So for example, if I said 1% error tolerance for required, it means that if there are under than 1% of the records that have null values in the ID column, the pipeline is still going to succeed. So this gives you more flexibility in terms of how rigid you want the validations to be. But what if you need more bespoke, customized validations that suit your business needs? Custom validations allow you to specify your validation via SQL and give you more control on the test you want to make. So say, for example, let's call it outliers. And let me paste in some query. So the convention here is that if we get back records from that query, the test is going to fail. So I'm going to test this validation, and you can see the validation passed, 0 rows returned. Let's just switch that, and now the validation failed. And you also get the records that the validation returned. So let's try and make the validation fail. I'm going to add a unique constraint to the superhost column, save that model. And what I'm doing now is I'm testing my changes. Monara provides an isolated environment for each data developer that allows you to test your changes and validations to make sure that everything passes without impacting other people. So I'm running my test. So this is basically running my models and their impacts. This includes the logic and the validations and make sure that everything works properly. So we see that demo 2, our new model, is failing. And if I jump over to the models tab, we see that demo 2 has failed. And indeed, we see that unique and accepted values are failing. If I go to the logs tab, I can see that column is superhost requires specific values and unique values. So let's try to fix it. Let's remove the unique constraint. And the superhost is actually T and F, true or false. Let's save it and rerun the test. So see how much more productive I get by making changes, adding validations, testing it in a separated, isolated environment, and make sure that everything works properly. I can confidently create a new version and push those changes to production.